I'm Emily Lohan. This year I'm graduating with a BA Honours degree in Contemporary Art from the Centre for Creative Arts and Media at GMIT. Through a multitude of media such as drawing, performance and video, my work centres around the natural and the spiritual world. I believe that making art with natural materials can reconnect us with the earth and in turn the spiritual. I work with materials that have a certain energy, and making art often feels equivalent to meditation. My practice is ritualistic with an element of endurance, which I use to search for a higher meaning to life and death. It is my way of attempting to understand the unknown. Where did we come from and where do we go when we die? The catalyst for this type of work was the first lockdown and the others that have followed. When the pandemic hit, I realised that I needed certain internal support structures. I needed to explore and understand my belief system, and I needed to do that through my art practice in order to do it in a meaningful way. So I made a performance called Reincarnate, in which I placed myself in a tray of mud and I walked around in a circle until I eventually came back to the tray of mud, and I repeated this. Soil interests me as a material because of its relationship to life and death. It holds nutrients essential for life and growth, but it is also often a final resting place for the dead. This performance represents cycles of life and is a metaphor for life, death and rebirth, with the soil acting as a passageway for these states. Right now I am sitting in front of my degree exhibition. It's a performance piece I've titled Gold Forest. I've placed a tree in the space along with a light source in the centre, and I methodically move the apple tree around the space. As I go, I gild the shadow cast on the walls with gold leaf. I also move the soil and replant the tree as I go. This leaves a trace of movement on the floor. I have been performing all day every day except for my 1 hour lunch break. I want to always be found in the space. The work doesn't feel real until an audience member is in the space with me, having this experience together. Gold leaf is a really special material to me. Gold is this durable, precious metal, but then the gold leaf is so delicate and ephemeral. It almost defies gravity when it falls off the walls, and it feels otherworldly. It also has a relationship to death that I always think about with regards to the ancient Egyptians, encasing their mummies in gold in order to preserve the body and the soul. Directly outside the space, I have photographic performative prints, showing me engaging with a cow skull. These are arranged in a triptych format. Above the triptych, I have an image of my hands holding a bird skull, reaching up to the sky. This is here to symbolize death and this reaching for the spiritual or the metaphysical world. Down below the triptych, I have an image of my hands holding flowers close to the womb, reaching down. This is here to symbolize this reaching down to the physical, earthly plane. So I wanted to have these images of death outside the space, and I wanted the audience to enter into the middle of this triptych, into this abundance of life inside. These works feel so important to me, and my practice has become something that's so close to my heart. It has been my way of questioning my belief systems, but also coming to some sort of conclusion or internal support structure. Since making these works, I've decided that for me, God or the supernatural lies not only in nature, but in creative energy itself. This belief system and way of working has helped me through the tough times, and it has added so much meaning to my life. For my degree, I wanted to make this space for healing for the audience, but I also wanted them to start to question their own beliefs, and I wanted to prompt them to give attention to their spirituality. I'm really interested in working with cycles of life. When an animal or plant dies, its energy is taken back from the earth and it's recycled to give way to new life. I have placed myself in the centre of this complexity of life, but I am not the most important organism here. I want to treat the cow skull, the bird skeleton, the apple tree, and all life with the same respect that I treat myself. Marina Abramovich once said that she is a mirror for the public, and the public a mirror for her. I want my practice to work in the same way. When people enter into my performance space, there's this really special exchange of energy. Just like there's this exchange of breath with the apple tree and this exchange of death and food with the cow. I place myself in the center to show that we as humans are a part of this complexity of life. All of us are. The work is on the walls, but it is also in the process of making and being. I am in the space doing this act of endurance, of exchange, of love, all the time. Once the performance is finally finished, it is gone. The walls will be painted over, and all that is left will be the memory and the transformations that took place in here. For me, this is what art and life is all about. It is as much about experience, transformation, and being than it is about creating.